It was clear that many people come to Poland and to Germany. So we tried at first to go to the civil society and say, okay, where is the platform? You have a platform, we can talk together and cooperate. In the beginning, not after that, and we are working beside, but together. And it was founded a platform of the Alliance for Ukraine from the civil society. Meanwhile, more than 400 participants on this platform, and we cooperate straight together with this platform. We have all 2 weeks or 4 weeks. We have a coordination round table with big players in the civil society in Germany and the most involved ministries. Foreign Ministry, Ministry for Working, for Health, for education, very important for the people who come to us and who want to or must stay here. In the beginning, the refugees from Ukraine said, okay, we come for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and we go back. Or men, or husbands, or brothers, or fathers are working, are fighting there, and we go back. They are happy that we are living without the war. But now, meanwhile, 6 months after the beginning of the war from the Russian side, we have all the people said to me, mainly women and children, elder, younger women said, okay, we know, we accept, we must stay here. And we think that in autumn, some more refugees come to Germany because of some of you, I think, come from Ukraine or know Ukraine. It's very cold in Ukraine. More is going east, it's colder there. It's difficult to live there, and it's difficult to live there not only with cold, but to get the people, the things you need to eat, to bring it something else. You know it. And some people I know from refugees from Ukraine here living here, they go back, they went back in summer to Kiev or to Kharkiv or somewhere else, and come back with their elder parts of the family. Grandmother, grandfather, and something else, and children. They come back and say, okay, we come back before winter's coming. They come back and say, we want to stay here, let's look, but now here. So this is the point of discussion in the moment, that we look together with the organizations, what can we do, that the people who come to us, perhaps, can live here how they want. They want to live here, they want to stay here, they want to have a good building for they want to work here, they want to have a good place for their children in a kindergarten or in school. That's all important if you stay longer in a city or in a town or in a country, to have the possibility to live there with all the things is important for you. A big problem that because of that, all the people want to go to big cities in Germany. Yesterday I was in Hamburg. We have a big day for refugees East every year in Hamburg, with the main important theme in the moment, Ukraine. And there are many refugees from Ukraine, but not only from Ukraine, from other countries. And then say to us, and the senator, the leader of the inner resort in Hamburg said to me, we have problems to get a place to live for them. Yeah, we have not. We have no flats. And it's a big problem, and the people said to us, I want to go in the country. They have to go to the school, you have no part in kindergarten, you have nothing. So, or not enough. It's a very big problem. I tell it to you because I think you know it, you read it. But it's very important in this moment. I have for many years participated from that program. You are here now, but not only in your case with your countries, but with Russia. We have a connection with Russia. We didn't forget it, I think, with partnership of towns, town partnerships. There's a big program in Russia and in Germany even. And I learned in this 10 years ago, about my last or 8 years ago, I learned many people like each other, meet each other from both countries, and to meet each other, to speak with each other, is prevention from any war and anything else. And they are also very sad about the situation in Ukraine, about the war, because friendships are broken. Personal friendships are broken. For me it's sad too. it belongs to me. I have many friends in Russia and under other countries. I have no contact to them, because not because they are in the war, because it's difficult for them. It's difficult to contact me. So it's very important that you are here. Thank you very, very much that you are here, and you stay in deep contact together. You learn from each other. I learn from you. I learn from Chris. Thank you, Katja, for the invitation here. And it's very important to speak about all things and to depend us from false information, from fake news, from something else. I think we can work together, we can live together in truth. If we are really say us what is the real reality and not something fakes. And all fake news are coming in the moment. The aim to make people afraid. Make people afraid, and that is not a basic for living together. I wish us a very good conference, learn much, read, write, but speak a lot to each other. And if you have some questions, I'm here up to 2-3 hours, I think. Please to me, to see I read nothing. Because all the thing I can tell it to you, you can read it in our homepage with something else. It was more important for me to show you that it's very important for me as a representative of the Minister of Interior and in my person that you are here. Thank you all for coming, and I hope you feel quite well here in Berlin.
Thank you very much. It was Markus Priesterath. And Minister of the Interior works with also other civil societies, so we work with the civil society as a whole, meaning that other diaspora organizations which are here in Germany are part of the local civil society, which means they also find partnership in the Ministry of the Interior. Next I would like to ask here to the stage Miss Valeria Shashenok. She is the photographer and author of the very recently published book Things That Just Make Sense in a Bomb Shelter. Valeria, when Russia's full-scale invasion in Ukraine began, she started living with her parents in an underground bomb shelter in Chernihiv, in the north of Ukraine. Spending a lot of time there, as she says, was scary, and it was also boring. So she started filming and posting TikTok videos about life in a bomb shelter. We will show some of them to you.
Do you feel scared, Valeria? Despite the devastation all around her, Graham Satchel, BBC News.
Yep. It's emotional and it's touching. And this is probably one of the most famous Ukrainians of the young generation. Valeria Shashenok, welcome.
So, hello everybody, I'm Valeria from Ukraine, how you understand, and I make a small presentation about my life, and so I wanna begin. So, who I am and what can happen with anyone. I just want to read and then I a little bit explain. So I'm Valeria and 6 months ago I lived in a bunker for 2 weeks. I make videos for TikTok about Russian invasion. Now I have more than 1-2 million followers in TikTok, and thanks to my followers we have collected more than $30,000 for a volunteer organization in my native city Chernihiv. First 2 weeks in Chernihiv was a completely dangerous situation. Many people died, many houses completely destroyed, and so how I started to make my videos on TikTok. Before that I was a photographer, but I'm still a photographer, and one day when it happened, my father has an office, but his office underground. And first 2 weeks I lived in that amazing underground place, and it's just how I spend my day. And usually when someone asks me for interviews, it's my place where I give an interview. My father is genius, because in a bomb shelter on last days, like 14 days, no electricity, no internet, and my father is so addicted to coffee, and he just takes this thing. I don't know the name of this thing, but maybe men don't understand what is it, and so make it everything. And we collected bread, how you see, so yes, I just take picture of everything. Then it's a perfect example what can make a sick person with your country. It's my city, so it's place collected close to my house, and I remember that my friend also lived in that house. That house was on every TV station on BBC 7, because it was the most powerful explosion and 30 people dead. So yes, and its last photo, it's hotel of the city center of Chernihiv. And I also want to remind the smallest part what happened in Ukraine during these 6 months. How you see, I think this is the most popular photo. On 19th March, the Russian Air Forces bombed maternity hospital in Mariupol. The subway is the best place to survive in Kharkiv and Kiev. And I think everyone knows about Bucha, and comments are unnecessary here. And it's a person who protected my country, Ukraine. His leg was amputated, but despite this, how you see he smiles. People drink water from bottles in Mykolaiv, and also not only in Mykolaiv, in Mariupol, and so many cities do this. And I like this photo so much, how fast they say goodbye to her daughter, so sensitive. And let's continue my story. So how did I escape from Russian bombs? Next it would be a video about how I escaped. Think of on and on and on. Don't stop reminding me of everything tonight. Yes, I'm in the zone. I can't believe dreaming about the things that we could be. Yes, I don't know, when I remember this moment when I escaped, every time I spent more than 24 hours to go to Warsaw from my native city Chernihiv. From Chernihiv I go to Kiev for 7 hours, but like before the war it was 2 hours. We did that way because Russian soldiers was in my city, and we decided to go by forest, villages, and I spent 7 hours, and from Kiev to Lviv it was 12 hours. From Lviv to Przemysl it was also so long, and from Przemysl to Warsaw. And I remember when every time I closed my eyes and said to me like, I'm sleeping, it's not with me, what happened with my life? Like I completely didn't understand what happened. And it's my favorite photo. So after Warsaw I go to Milan, because one Italian family decided to host me, and I lived with them for 4 months. And all my life, honestly, I dreamed that one day I want to go to Europe, have an education in Europe, live in Europe, like everything I want to do in Europe. But honestly, I very romanticized this country, because when you are a refugee in another country, especially in Italy, you need to know language, you need to rent apartment. Nobody wanna rent apartment to you because you're a refugee, because you're an age of student, and blah blah blah. So every day it was like so it was so mentally hard for me, especially when I was alone. And so during this my way, I post everything about my life on TikTok and Instagram. And I remember day that one publisher from Austria write to me that you need to write a book, you're so interesting, your life is so interesting. I was like, you're strange, what interesting. And then, so maybe for 1 or 2 months, but okay, next week when he called to me, we met, and I understand that maybe he's a nice person and we can cooperate. So, and he asked me many questions about my life, like step by step. He checked all my social medias, like 2015 like what happened with me 6 months ago, 7 years ago, and and it happened in real life. I have a book in German, English, and on September 13th it will be in Italian language. So I'm so happy, and if you're really interested in my book, you can buy it on Amazon or in Valeria shop in Austria or Germany, in German. So yep. And it's first page of my book. I like this photo so much because I remember the first day of war in my native city, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe I want to go outside to visit the grocery market and check what people are doing. And I decided to go to the market and see this amazing Ukrainian woman who sells tobacco for cigarettes. And I also like on the high, you can see свежий хліб, it means fresh bread, and bread is like very so important for Ukraine, and like, oh, it's important to have something. And of course, part of the money from the purchase of my book goes to a